guys, what's going on? My name is Louis, and God bless to every single one of you. Today is March 21st, 2026, and welcome to the Grand Supreme News Channel. Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. You have the leader of Serbia, Alexander, just put out a very powerful statement and said World War III has already begun. According to Alexander, current events are increasingly resembling the early stages of World War I and World War II. Wow. At the same time, we do have some more updates about the Diego Garcia. This is a wake-up call. So Persia missiles could hit Europe. Expert fear. As attempted attack on British base in Diego Garcia puts the UK and other major European capitals in range of Tehran. I'm gonna skip that name there. So yesterday, Persia fired not one but two ballistic missiles towards Diego Garcia, and that's the first time Persia ever fired towards that region. Now, it didn't hit the Diego Garcia, but I do believe it was a message sent to Western. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, Louis Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Happy Saturday. God bless to every single one of you. If this is your first time, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. When you hit that like button, this platform will give it an option if you guys want to hype this video. Make sure you hype this video. It actually helps out to spread this video to others out there. So again, thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for hyping this video. All right. So it says here in a statement made today, March 21st, 2026, Serbian leader Alexander warned that WW3 may have already begun, though it has not yet been officially declared. Speaking to the German newspaper, Alexander noted the difficulty of preventing a global conflict and suggested that current geopolitical tensions are echoing the lead-up to previous world wars. Wow. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Now, Alexander claimed that while not officially recognized, a global war is effectively underway, driven by the struggle for resources such as oil, gas, and rare minerals. He's right. He's absolutely right. And again, all this, the situation is happening in the Mid-East. This could spark, especially the strait being closed, no oil, no gas, and prices going up. This could literally spark the next chapter of biblical war. Now, he compared the current situation to the start of the First and Second World Wars, which began as regional conflict before escalating into direct clashes between major military and political alliances. Now, the president emphasized that everyone is currently preparing for war. And he's absolutely right with that one too. How many doomsday plane is operating right now? And there's a lot more doomsday plane. Bunkers and everything's getting ready. You got the Europeans are urging their population to stock up on items that could last at least 72 hours. Make sure that you have certain medicines, go bag, or emergency kits. We hear that a lot, especially out there in the UK and Europe and other regions. So it's very important to look out for these signs and be prepared spiritually, physically, and mentally. Now, it says here, once again, the president emphasized that everyone is currently preparing for war, and that Serbia must focus on strengthening its defense capability while maintaining neutrality. Now, he also expressed concerns that future stages of the conflict could eventually lead to the use of tactical nuclear. Wow. I mean, this person's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Alexander is absolutely right. Now, previously, in late February 2026, Alexander has stated that while he did not believe the Mid-East conflict had yet escalated into a world war, the world was entering a new era where international law will no longer be respected. Wow. So what are your thoughts on this one here, guys? What are your thoughts on this one here? Once again, Alexander makes a bold statement when it comes to World War III. Now we're going to jump with the news when it comes to Persia firing ballistic towards Diego Garcia. Persia missiles could hit Europe. Experts fear. As attempted strike on British base in Diego Garcia puts UK and other major European capitals in range of Tehran very powerful missiles. It says here Persia ballistic missile strike on a British military base in the Chagos Island has escalated fears that major European capitals are now within reach of another strike by the Persian regime, with London moving closer to the edge of vulnerability. So, the Europeans got two problems. They got the bear, and they got Persia. Those are the two big ones. You think Donna's going to be there for their rescue? Donna's going to say, you guys going to help me when it comes to the strait. You guys are on your own. Two ballistic equipments were fired towards Diego Garcia, a base in the Indian Ocean jointly operated by the Sleeping Giant and the UK on Friday night. The significant escalation in hostility came as Starmer gave the green light for Donald to use the UK-based bombers threatening the strait. It says here, you have sources reported that one of the missiles failed in flight while the other was intercepted by a Sleeping Giant warship in what is believed to be the first ever strike on a military base. The precise timing of the incident is as yet unknown, through the Gov confirmed on Saturday that it took place before Starmer provided the go-ahead to the U.S., with Conservative Party leader Kemi now accusing the Prime Minister of a cover-up on the detail and questioning why the public were not told sooner. Now, the defense experts have suggested the incident is significant in that it marks the first time intermediate-range missiles have been deployed in the conflict. Now, one that can cover far greater distances. Whoops. Advertisements alert. Beautiful surprises already in these news articles. It says here, have been deployed in the conflict, one that can cover far greater distances than Persia weapons were previously known to be capable of. Diego Garcia lies around 3,800 kilometers, that's 2,360 miles from Persia, undermining the regime's previous assertion that its ballistic missile could only reach 2,000 kilometers, that's 1,240 miles. Experts have warned that if Persia has proven its capability are far greater, the missile threat could now extend to most capital cities in Western Europe. This includes Paris, which is 4,198 kilometers, 2,609 miles from Tehran, while London lies on the edge of vulnerability at around 2,750 miles. The unnerving analyst comes as General Sir Richard Behrens, who headed the UK Joint Forces Command between 2013 and 2016, said Persia power may have been severely underestimated. So Persia, it seems like Persia hasn't fired their best yet. They just fired the little cheap ones, but now they are firing some very powerful very powerful ones, and we are seeing that right now. And ever since they started firing their ballistic stuff, now Donna's saying, well, we done. We done. We just going to leave, and from there, again, we are victorious. It seems like Persia is firing some very powerful stuff. Now the Sleeping Giant are leaving. The former forces chief was responding to questions over whether Donald was right to say that the UK had done too little and too late, or whether opponents of the war were correct that the UK had been sucked into a sleeping giant war. Wow, look at this here. It could definitely reach London and Paris. Wow, even China? So their missile could reach... Give me a second here. Diego Garcia. Wow, Diego Garcia. So you see Diego Garcia is all the way at the bottom. Way down there. So you have, once again, Persia. They fired the ballistic towards Diego Garcia. But we have ships around this area, so our ship took out their missile. It didn't touch the island. But it's a warning. It's a message. They have something very powerful that could reach all those areas. Now, they're not going to fire towards their allies, the bear and the red dragon. But they could fire towards this region here. Paris and London. Alright, so give me a second here, guys. If you can, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you again for your support, guys. Make sure you hype the video. Alright, so that's the Diego Garcia. And we do have some planes, military planes and aircraft out there. I think we have the B-2 Spirits out there too. Both could be true. War generally does not follow a script, and the enemy always gets a vote, and in this case, the enemy vote. Persia has been seriously underestimated. We are where we are. This conflict and the way it has turned out now puts British interests and those of our allies at risk, and ignoring it completely is no longer appropriate, even if the decision at the start of the conflict were very different. Persia and the UK have been at odds for a very long time. The Persian regime regards the UK as an enemy, and so if you are seen to participate in some fashion with this US Holy Land offensive action, then they are clearly clearly going to respond, and we should not be surprised. It seems like the game has just begun. It seems like Persia is starting to fire some very powerful ones. And Donald is about to leave. Again, Donald said it. He's like, we're about to leave soon. Right after Persia is taking out their big toys. General Sir Richard, it seems like Persia is going to be firing at the Gulf while the Sleeping Giant is going to leave. I mean, leave comments down below. What are your thoughts on that? Donald said that he's going to declare victory, and it seems like he's going to leave the rest to the Gulf to deal with it. General Sir Richard said the UK was helping the Sleeping Giant to apply military force, adding, we have obligations to them and we may not have thought this was a good idea. At the start, we may not have wanted to get involved, but now in the way this has turned out, we are involved. That's why Alexander is sounding the alarm of WW3. So asked about the U.S. commander apparently contradictory comments last night about possibly ending the war or considering the use of ground troops. He told BBC Radio 4's Today program that there had been a mismatch between the objective you would like to achieve and the means you are prepared to apply to it. He added, they, the sleeping giant and the Holy Land, have got to choose between now announcing victory or stopping, or if those objectives really matter to them, they are going to have to escalate it because you can't do much more with air power, so you are beginning to talk about potentially using troops. Now, guys, there is a lot more to this one here. A lot more. I'm going to share the rest on my Twitter page. But again, the U.S. meanwhile reported that it has hit more than 8,000 military targets since the conflict began. This is the Diego Garcia. And this is what we have in the Diego Garcia. Ooh, those are some very powerful birds. Those are the ones that dropped the bunker buster. Those are the ones that dropped the bunker buster, which, by the way, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Persia nuclear facility got hit. So that's going to be my next video. Once again, these are 6 B-2 bombers seen on the apron of the U.S. military base on Diego Garcia. This was taken on April the 2nd, 2025. But this is just an example of what this base is all about. This is a very important base. We have a lot of birds there. And they're like 2,000 something miles away from Iran. Yesterday, Iran fired towards this region for the first time ever. Alright, and Alexander, the president of Serbia, is really sounding the alarm. He's basically saying this could lead to WW3. So what are your thoughts here, guys? It's a very extreme long article, so this is if I read the whole thing, it's gonna be like 45-minute video, but the rest I'm gonna leave on my Twitter page. Follow me on X. The link will be in the description box. You just have to scroll down, and again, I did share the news article link. I'm not going to share it in the description box, guys. Every time I share links in the description box, when it comes to these wars, I get hit by the platform. I guess just the algorithm catches up to it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, Lord Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for he's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.